busiest roads. So, we're continuing to plug forward with it. I guess ultimately, you know, we're gonna be taking baby steps unless one of these windfalls of money actually happens. I hope so. I think it'd be great for our community. I don't know if any of you saw the Daily News article about Howard City and White Mountain Trail is going to be paved. That's insane. And we're talking millions of dollars. And ironically enough, when I was speaking with the foundation person, Kara Jones from Meyer, they wanted to know how far we were from connecting to that path. So my thoughts are, is if someday we get this done, they may connect it to that, which is really cool. So I guess my other thought on it is, you know, there's a lot of people from the community here that will utilize that. Their families will come here and stay with them and then utilize that. But the other piece is it's a draw for our community, not only to, you know, support economic growth, whether it's at the gas station or the grocery store or whatever else, but it gives people a reason to come to town and keep our shops busy, and it's great for all of us. So I hope when the time comes, if there's more information that we need, at some point we may ask for some public input on this or that along the way, you know, please get with us. We want your information. So I appreciate the township board willing to work with the village on it. We've been partnering more so now than we ever have, and I think it's a step in the right direction. So thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for letting us use your facility.
Absolutely.
Next thing on our business is the wind ordinance. Do we have any, wanna make your,
I do wanna make a motion towards the planning commission's proposed ordinance, but I wanna preface that, with a statement before I do. I don't own any land, I'm not related to anybody that owns any land, and contrary to popular belief, I don't have any sacks of bribe money coming into the office. I recognize the planning commission, how hard they work, and appreciate it. I think they did do a great job. I wanna see as few turbines as necessary, yet there still be a viable project for those that wanna participate. And I think the way that we do that, I think there needs to be a little bit of a change in the ordinance. I just said a little bit. So, my motion is that we move forward on the ordinance as presented with the following change. In number 7A, the height not to exceed 500 foot instead of 400 foot. The noise metrics changed from LMAX to LEQ 10 minutes.
Hey.
I'm making a motion, the board can vote on it.
What was that?
if you recall,
That's fine. But
Guys.
let me finish my motion. We change the LMAX to the LEQ 10 minutes, 50 decibels at property line 45 in an occupied building and non-participants. Setbacks from roads and other infrastructure at 1.5 tip height, not 4. Setback from Tamarack Lake, Townline Lake, Forest Lake, and Tamarack Creek, 1.5 miles. All other minor lakes, streams, and wetlands, 1/4 mile.
That same email that went to Maple Valley.
Guys, hey.
hey, hold on here. We're gonna clear this room if we can't have our meeting in quiet. You bet.
speak. Because I'm the police chief here, and if you're gonna be disorderly, I'll ask you to leave. You wanna leave now, sir?
Do you wanna sit down? Do
you wanna go to
Joe, please stop.
Let them continue.
Shut your mouth.
You don't tell me what to do.
I just did. Really?
Nobody does.
Joe,
You wanna go to jail?
Joe Hansen, stop it now. Joe, stop.
This is a Cato meeting.
Interesting.
This is a Cato meeting.
Yeah, I can.
It's a Cato meeting.
Thank you.
You're still in the village of Lakeview, thank you very much.
That's it, I'm done.
Could you repeat them so we can hear it? I mean, you went really fast.
All right, I said I wanna see as few turbines as possible, and yet let there be a viable project for those that wanna participate. I said the only change I was gonna make is in number 7 in the large wind towers, height not to exceed 500, noise changing from LMAX to LEQ 10, setback on roads and other infrastructure, 1.5 from the tip height, setback from Tamarack Lake, Town Line Lake, and Lake Forest, and Tamarack Creek, 1.5 miles. All other minor lakes, streams, and wetlands, 1/4 mile.
Please don't.
Are you making
That's my motion. We adopt the ordinance with those changes.
the, is there support? Moved and supported, further discussion.
I will, I'm saying that, all the work that we put into this, the reason we come, well, as I said, we asked her what's gonna be held up in court, 300 to the 700, and we picked, I was leaning towards the 500 before, and the procedure put in place. We went over this, people came and spoke, we had the public comment, and there was only, I remember 2 people that spoke for it, one was Apex, and about one other, if I remember right. So that's what made me, that was the time, I could see him not coming to every meeting and sitting through this, but the public comment, that was the procedure put in place for this, why we went with the 400 feet, because that's all we kept hearing from everybody, was they could accept the 400, it was not, they still make them that size, it's not too restrictive, we could have them here. Now, as far as the LEQ, the reason we went with the LMAX is from what research that we did, we found if you go to the LEQ, there can be human error going out to try to measure any of that done. It's just like if you have a wake, no wave zone in the lake, and somebody comes down and says, if they had a foot wave, well, then you gotta prove it. If there was a wave at all, somebody went by, whoever did it, turn them in, they get a ticket. That's basically what we went with the LMAX for. It's very easy without any human error, to go out and measure it. To go to the roads, the reason we did that is Cato Township is one of the, or not the road, the distance of 1.5 is for the lakes. It's one of the wettest townships that I know, one being the drainage contract farmer. If you look at the other maps where they pass these, I know they're outdated maps, but still, if you take out half of what's in Cato, and the other ones are still a lot more wetlands here. That's why we come to the conclusion of the named wetlands, named lake streams, and the wetlands we have on here is why we chose to protect this. Now, also with why I went, like I said, I was planning on 500 feet, but the more I look at this and kept hearing the airport, is very important to the agricultural community, especially right here in Cato Township and right surrounding, because we're one of the biggest potato growers here, and that's what there's more touchdowns and takeoffs here than just about any airport that size in the state of Michigan. Just because, basically the potato farmers, so that's why I've changed, we agreed on the 500 feet at first, and then we dropped it to 400. And as far as, you dropping that to 1/4 mile from any other stream, that's just, any of these lakes that are not formed, somewhere down the road, they can start building houses on there, and then it's gonna be too close. So that's where, this discussion, I'm saying, the planning commission, we came with this, we thought we looked at both sides, and we were put in here we did all research, and we presented it to this, and that's why so that's my feeling.
Any other discussion?
Did you have 3 changes or?
He has 4 that I wrote down.
Yeah.
Height, LEQ, road, 1.5, and then.
On the road, is it still 4 times if you're not participating?
Yeah, and then in the proposed ordinance, it's 4 times the total tip.
I'm sorry, where are you at?
Right here, page 10.
One off.
Yeah.
Change.
Cause the reason we changed from the roads to the tip height was because anybody driving down the road is no different than at the property line. To keep those people safe from the road is why we kept the tip height the same, the distance.
Any other discussion? I don't think a lot of people realize that because of, the airport and Town Line Lake and Tamarack Lake, that these turbines will be only in the bottom two rows of
Can't guarantee that.
sections. Anyway, hearing any other discussion,
Yeah,
all,
no, I wanna,
okay,
you always tend to cut me off, but that's okay. Well, cause I like to wait my turn. The 400 feet turbines, I think is a good idea. 500 feet, I don't think is an awful idea. I think 500, I wouldn't wanna see 600 or 700 foot in our township. The LMAX, the LEQ, the way that I've been reading it over the last month, the LMAX is easier to, monitor. So that's, I guess I would go for the LMAX. The setbacks, I've said from day one, I'm trying to protect the property owners. So from property lines, I like the 4 foot. From roads, 1.5 feet. I don't have an issue.
You mean 4 times?
Yeah, 4 times. Sorry. Because, like I said, I wanna protect the property owner next to them, but from the roads, 1.5 times, I don't think a turbine's gonna fall over and jump that far.
Nice throw.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm proposing. We leave non-participating and occupied homes at the 4 times,
Okay,
and all I did was change the
road
roads
size.
to
Okay,
1.5 times.
I wanna clarify it, okay. And then the wetlands, looking at the map that Brandy had sent to us, I just don't know that the proposed wetlands that they put in here is very good. That's the only part that I really disagreed on, was the wetlands.
the only one, what, you said the only part you disagreed with was what?
The wetlands. Just because I don't know how to say this, but with the map that Brandy had sent to us, I mean, what's declared as a wetland and what's not declared as a wetland? I've seen things declared as a wetland that's not. And then, you know, with a little TLC, it cleans right up and it's beautiful yard. Where the Department of Natural Resources come out and say, well, that's wetland, you can't do that. So, I don't know how to judge what is wetlands and what's not wetlands. But to have, setbacks from minor lakes, major lakes, minor lakes, I totally agree with that.
Any other discussion?
Jordan, my other question, so would you feel comfortable, Joyce? I mean, we're at 1.5 miles right now from the wetlands. I mean, just keep the lakes and that the same, just, would you feel comfortable then like a mile from the wetland? Or
If
do
you can
have
tell
a
me what those
distance?
wetlands are,
Or do you wanna do a size then? Do you wanna do 10 acres or bigger? I mean, that would be a way to determine,
that would be better for
you
me,
know what I
yes.
mean?
If you had like
Say-
a definition
So
of
if we say,
a wetland
or-
is more
or do you
than
wanna-
so many acres.
would you feel more comfortable if we did, 1.5 from 10 acres or bigger? You know, I mean, that's all we did, we'd put in there, leave the 1.5 miles, but it only pertains to wetlands that are 10 acres or bigger. Anything below that, then it's,
So like I have a stream that runs through the bottom of my property, just the corner of my property, is that considered wetlands?
it's not a named stream.
Correct,
That's why we did put streams, so that's why our clarification to go to wetlands was, we'd put 1.5 in, but then I agree that there's not a designated size, so if we would put in our, ordinance of 10 miles or bigger,
10 acres.
10 acres.
or 10 acres, 10 acres or bigger, then would you feel comfortable with that would give you the size?
That would give, yes, cause then I can know
Yes.
what, you can measure that.
Yes. You good with that, Todd, or anybody else?
Yeah, I believe that I am.
The only thing I can have about, is the minor lakes. you like, let's use, I don't, you use one of the Bremer's lakes or one of the Pickerel Lake. I don't see why you need to stay 1.5 miles away from Pickerel Lake.
The only reason I would say is, it's a named in our master plan. I mean, down the road, it could be developed.
You aren't gonna develop Pickerel Lake.
There could be, I mean, not around it all the way, but I mean, there's still spots you could build there. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Nothing, there's no lot on Pickerel Lake you could build within 100.
South side you could.
I don't know what it is where the ditch that you dug a year
It
ago.
comes from the east. And
don't
the
know.
other one comes in from the west side of it.
Yeah, well, the one that comes across cars is, comes in from the east, but didn't you put a ditch, dig a ditch? The old drain, follow the
Yeah,
old drain.
that's on the very west side of it.
Yeah, on the very southwest corner.
Yes. There's
But
plenty of
that-
space between there and where.
But, as far as being that's never gonna be a recreational lake.
No, I never said recreate, I just said people could build there, but that's,
And that's the way with Little Bremer Lake there on Acre Road. Of course, that's up too close to the other lakes anyway, so that one wouldn't matter, but,
How many minor lakes do we have in our
I
township?
think there were 7 that we
There's
had,
7?
7 named in our master plan that I remember what
And
we went
2
over.
major.
Yeah, I believe, I
Right?
remember
Yeah,
7,
thank you.
right, yes. 2 major and 7.
You probably don't know how many, wetlands do we have, but over 10 acres. I'm sure you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's
Sorry
right.
for the question.
No,
what you
no,
call
there is.
it, depends
Yeah.
on the year.
Right, no, that's true too.
If they got cattails, then you've got trouble. Anyway.
That's why I was
is
saying anything over 10, we regulate under 10 and.
Is there amendment to the motion?
I would make that amendment that we change wetlands to 1.5 mile setback when there's 10 acres or more.
10 acres or more.
Alright, we still leaving minor lakes and major lakes.
Named ones, yes.
Alright, so, well, we're gonna have to rescind my motion.
No, we just, you're making I need a support for the amendment.
Alright, but right now the only amendment is on wetlands versus minor lakes and major lakes, correct?
Is there support for that?
Support.
Been moved, supported. Now, we'll vote on if there's no other discussion, we'll vote on the amendment.
What about sound?
Yeah, I was just gonna, or what about, I mean, Joyce was talking about the LMAX, yes, that's what. Those are,
Let me qualify, I looked at, Pine Township, Maple Valley, Belvedere and Winfield, there isn't any neighbors, if they had LMAX and they took it out. In those townships.
I did that.
Hey,
Oh, you didn't take it out?
No. it's
Oh,
out.
sorry,
It's-
my mistake.
1 second.
Alright.
LEQ 1 second.
It's LEQ 1
It
second.
is, it's not LMAX.
It's
LEQ 1 second.
1 second.
No average.
I know that I read that.
You did.
I mean, the only thing I'd say with that, I mean, with the LMAX is there is the waiver option for the non-participating, that they can sign the waiver.
Can I have a clarification here, is the whole motion, your motion on the table with the amendment?
We haven't voted on
It is
it.
right
I'm
now.
not asking if
No,
you
yeah, I
voted on
know, Jordan,
anything.
Jordan's confused, I kinda, I mean, that's.
Right, what's on the,
Right now, we're gonna vote on the amendment to the motion.
Okay.
So we gotta,
Here,
still gotta clarify the sign, I mean, what, Todd hasn't said what he's gonna make the,
Well, I'm still gonna stay with my proposal to the changes.
but changing the minor lakes, major lakes.
Yes,
yeah, that's the amendment.
the, those in favor of the amendment, say aye. Well, let's do a roll call. Okay. Lindsay?
Yes.
We're only
Okay.
voting on the amendment
We're
part, not the
voting
whole,
on the amendment.
okay. Yes,
Jeff, okay.
Joyce?
Todd?
She said yes.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Burnwell?
I will vote yes, cause it's only on the wetland part, yes.
This is for the
The amendment,
Amendment.
the only change is the wetland.
So now we gotta go back to the original.
Now, there was the only, we're only changing, okay, we're only changing, okay.
Now we go back to the original, right?
Right, with the amendment.
Did you vote?
No, but there was a majority.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the original original motion with the amendment?
The only thing I'm just still saying is the 400 feet is what we come up with based on what was coming over here, and I like you why we did it, and the tip height or from the roads, we did that because it's no different than the property line. Somebody driving down there, the road is no different than a property line, so I voted on that.
Any other discussion? Roll call on the amendment. Burnwell?
No.
Lincoln?
Yes.
Joyce?
no,
Lindsay?
Yes.
And I'll break the tie with yes. Motion passed. Road update. We had a, Brian, was there any other?
Yeah, they, Tamarack Road did get chip and sealed. They're waiting on doing the seal coat out there. They can't get any seal coat till the 21st. And they're telling me they're trying to schedule a bail. They're working on the schedule, but hopefully.
So there is another coat going on.
Yeah, there's fog
I
coat.
thought there was.
Yep.
The way they've been doing it the last.
Yeah,
few
and we
years.
got that one patch done, before we reported about. I have had into some conversation with Berkshire, they are moving forward, they've had some questions, and I've gotten answers from our town, so that still is moving forward, they're about, I don't know, maybe
Hit the roads.
30%.
Oh, yeah, on that, yeah.
But they have contact, so. That's pretty much.
Anything else to come?
What did you say on bail next week?
No, within a couple weeks, so, well, as you guys know, up here, the county got that all cleaned up on the corner. And then next year, we're thinking they're gonna have, pretty sure they're gonna give us, as part of ARPA funds, 50,000 for every mile of paved road. So we gotta be thinking about that.
I have a question.
1 mile for
Yeah.
one paved, I mean, we can't do it. We can't take how long to do 10 miles.
No. My question still, as I see in the Daily News, it says that, MDOT said for 91 was gonna be 2024 now instead of 23, so.
Correct, so I did
Patch
talk.
job on Youngman needs to have something done before
Okay,
that.
I'll talk to Mark on that, but I did talk to him about it today, and his recommendation was at least major projects hold off till that 2020,
Yep, no,
till he knows about that
Yes.
2020.
need some type of.
Do you want something, I mean, is that a motion to get a price for this year?
I would, I mean, it's just that section
Right.
south of Deaner that needs a patch job, that's really coming apart in Youngman.
I'll support it.
There was some talk about putting a turn lane there at Youngman. Is there any,
I don't know, that's MDOT, that's gonna be MDOT.
well, on Youngman though?
Right, they still have they still own that right away, they have the clear vision, they'll have the turns too. So they have a
this
bigger,
state, that's not us.
yeah, that'll be the state.
It'd be the state even though it's.
MDOT.
Even though it's, I'm talking about Youngman, not 46.
Yeah. But it's still gonna be at this spot.
Oh, that spot? No, that'll be the county, sorry, I thought you were talking.
That's what I was getting at.
Right, for that patch.
I thought you were talking on 46.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so did I.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So you're talking off Youngman, like a right turn lane onto 46, or?
a right turn lane, so somebody wanting to make a left sitting there isn't holding up.
It's
That'll-
facing south, he's talking.
Yeah, that'll
about.
still be on dot.
That's still.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay,
You got a motion on the floor
Yes.
by David to patch Youngman Road at Diener.
yeah, probably.
Alright,
is there support for
Yes.
David's motion?
Lindsay, yeah.
Okay, any else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. That's all right.
No problem.
Anything else to come before the meeting?
Public comment.
Public comment.
Yeah. Public comment.
I just wanna, make sure I got all this down, cause we are gonna have to follow the proper procedures to amend the ordinance. Or to, I guess, publish it and make it effective. So we have a 500, we changed from 400 to 500 foot. We're changing from LMAX to LEQ 10 minutes, but you also said something else, Todd, you said
Oh,
50 at a property line and 40,
50 decibels property line, 45 occupied building or non-participating.
wait a minute, hold on, 50 at a participating?
No, 50 decibels at property line, 45 only at a occupied building or non-participating.
On a non-participating property? An occupied building on a
Or
non-participating?
non-participant. Somebody who's not participating.
An occupied building on a non-participant, not the property
No, I'm
owner.
not talking vacant land.
Right, you said an occupied building, I get
Well,
that,
a building on a property.
right.
Okay, on a non-participating property, okay, we're gonna probably need to make sure that's clear, cause it's not really clear. Okay, and then the 1.5 times, setback from roads and infrastructure,
Roads
Just
and other
those.
infrastructure, yeah, 1.5 tip pipe.
1.5 tip, okay. And then, here's where I kinda got lost with the water, so we're leaving the major and the minor lakes that are named in our master plan at the
Yes.
1.5 miles.
Yes.
And then for wetlands, which again, would have to have that on-site, evaluation by Eagle to be called a wetland.
Yep.
1.5 mile setback for wetlands, that are 10 acres or bigger.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had that. The LEQ, you were correct on Pine Township, but they use LEQ, but it's 1 second, and the key is that the averaging is taken out of the equation. So with LEQ 10 minutes, that 10 minutes is where they're allowed to, I guess, average, and it's not a speed limit, so to speak. So, of all of these, I guess that's the one, I don't like the most, but, so, that's all I have to say.
Any other comment?
Larry, Todd, I would like to know, since you guys are, and to start off with planning commission members, I'm sorry for trying to attack with a 500-foot limit. Thank you again for pushing the 400 foot. As you can tell, that's where the 500-foot number came from, that's how it's coming. Todd and Larry, you interrogated Dave over where he got his numbers. You'd like to share where you got yours?
Nope.
No? That's APAC? Email from APAC. Not to correct Bob's numbers here, but the 38 lease signers, those aren't even Cato residents. Less than 38 are Cato residents.
Where are they?
Can you guys fathom?
Well,
Right,
this is
yeah.
public comment, I don't have to answer you.
Right, you
I
don't.
know you don't, but you can't. By not answering, it shows, it shows their integrity at this point of it. And this is ridiculous. Larry, you were so pleased to see how many people showed up at that meeting in the park. When was the last time you saw a community come together?
But, well, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Nobody's trying to bully. I'm still talking. I'll take my 3 minutes. Nobody's trying to bully you. But you're right now, you're fighting the community. This is ridiculous. For what? This all Pat Card? Just because of Pat Card? Seriously, how far does he control you guys? That's sad.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can get the actual amendment wording after the meeting for the recalls? No? You guys even know what the amendment was?
Yep.
Yeah? That's it.
Wait a minute.
I'd like to ask Todd, would you just wake up some morning and think of this stuff and want to change things?
Nope.
Why would you do that? This what you did is the exact same thing we seen at Maple Valley, Same thing has happened in Winfield Township. It is the exact same wording that you're doing what Apex apparently has its name outside the town here. Look behind you, Todd, this is Lakeview, the way life should be. You think life is gonna be that way for this lady here that talked about her husband with health problems, and you sat there and you don't care? This guy over here talks about this shit trail somewhere. You think people are gonna even live here to wanna walk on it, Todd? You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
You gotta be ashamed. Maybe I'm not done, Todd. You gotta be ashamed of yourself, Todd.
Anybody else?
Is this gonna be in the Lakeview paper or the Daily News?
I'm guessing it's gonna be in the Daily News too, but it'll be in the Lakeview paper.
No, I mean your minutes.
Oh, yeah, it's always Lakeview.
It's Lakeview, okay. Yes, I know.
Come on, do that.
Well, I'm gonna leave after this, but I'm gonna thank you, Todd, for putting a windmill next to my house.
Linda Reynolds, I look at the sign behind you and I see what you guys did. This is your legacy that you've done here. What you've done to your community with tearing them apart more. It's very sad because what you guys proposed, Todd, what you proposed there, at Maple Valley, I go to theirs, pretty much the same wording. Linfield, I go to theirs, same wording. And then you go to Douglas, where I'm from, same wording of the changes. Each one of those recalls, each one of those referendum, and they've all passed their signatures quickly. You're dragging this out. They did all that work. And what a slap in the face to them. I can't believe that you did that. So degrading to your PC. They're so educated. I have to think they're maybe smarter than a lot of you up there. Way smarter than me. Shame. Shameful.
Yeah, Eric Tester, Douglas Township. Yeah, you quoted Maple Valley and Winfield. You also thrown Douglas in there. It's all the same. They're all going against the will of the people. Look what's happened. They've all been referendum. This is going to be referendum. You just took 1.5 years of these people's lives and threw it down the toilet. When you write the next one, are you going to write it the same way? Are you going to go against the will of the people next time? Because this isn't going to stand.
I probably won't be here.
A lot of people aren't going to be here because all over this county, our elected officials are going against the will of the people. You heard the thing here, there's 4 people in here for him, out of what, 75?
What about,
That's 5%.
Isn't it his turn to talk?
what about?
Larry.
You can, go ahead, sir.
No, I'll just keep.
Okay, but yeah, that's my thing. Why you guys keep going against the will of the people when you know it's not gonna work? Let's say this company was gonna come in here bringing all this money with electricity. If crops wouldn't grow, would you guys be pushing it that hard? I bet you wouldn't. But when your neighbor's house isn't gonna be able to sell, oh, that's okay. If we had crop damage because of this, you guys wouldn't be for this. Please, listen